Stop me if this sounds familiar. You wake up, check your bank account, feel that punch in the gut, work your ass off all week, and somehow you're still one emergency away from disaster. Meanwhile, your college roommate who barely graduated just bought their second rental property. Your coworker who makes less than you, taking their third vacation this year. That guy from high school who seemed average at best, retired at 45, and you're sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing wrong? Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to tell you. You're not behind because you're lazy. You're not broke because you're stupid. You're struggling because you're playing by a completely different set of rules than the people who are winning. The rich don't have some secret investment strategy. They don't have magic money. They just understand 7 fundamental rules that school never taught you, your parents probably didn't know, and society actively hides from you. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain, because once you see these rules, you can't unsee them. And everything changes. Let's go. Rule 1. Your paycheck is the biggest trap. Here's what blew my mind when I first learned this. Princeton University did a massive study on happiness and money. They found that after you hit about $95,000 a year, more money doesn't actually make you happier. But here's the twist. Most people don't believe that. So what happens? You get a raise, 20 grand more a year. You're pumped for about 2 weeks. Then your brain does this insane thing. It adjusts. You upgrade your apartment, lease a nicer car, start eating out more. 3 months later, you're broke again. Just broke at a higher income level. This is why professional athletes making millions go bankrupt. Why doctors earning 6 figures file for bankruptcy. It's called the hedonic treadmill, and it's destroying you. Real talk, I knew 2 people from the same college. Sarah made $65,000. James made $150,000. Everyone thought James was crushing it. 10 years later, Sarah had hundreds of thousands invested. James had almost nothing saved. Why? Sarah lived below her means from day one. James lived up to his paycheck every single time it increased. The rule? Income is just a number. Wealth is freedom. And most people trade their freedom for a bigger paycheck they immediately spend. Rule 2. Time is the only thing that matters. Forget complex investment strategies. Forget crypto. Forget trying to time the market. The single biggest factor in building wealth? Starting early. Someone who starts investing in their 20s will end up with millions more than someone who starts in their 30s. Same monthly amount. Same exact investments. The only difference? 10 years. But here's the dark side nobody talks about. This works in reverse with debt. You know that credit card you're carrying? Every month you don't pay it off. Compound interest is eating you alive. The credit card company is literally using time against you. 2 friends. Both had student loans. Mike hated debt so much he lived like a broke college student for 3 years and wiped it out. David enjoyed his 20s, made minimum payments. 10 years later, Mike had built serious wealth. David had paid double what Mike paid and was starting from zero. The rule? Time is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Choose which side you're on. Rule 3. Everything you own is a trap. Robert Kiyosaki said it best in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Simple, right? But here's what messes people up. Your house isn't an asset. Your car definitely isn't. They're liabilities disguised as assets. Think about your house. You pay the mortgage, sure, but you also pay property taxes, insurance, repairs, HOA fees. All of it disappears forever. You're not building wealth. You're just maintaining a structure. Your car? Even worse. The moment you drive it off the lot, it loses value. Then you pay insurance, gas, maintenance, parking. It's bleeding you dry. Meanwhile, someone's renting a modest place, driving a used reliable car, and investing the difference. 10 years later, they have options. They have freedom. They're not trapped by stuff they have to maintain. Here's the mind shift. The rich buy assets that pay them, rental properties that generate income, stocks that grow and pay dividends, businesses that run without them. The middle class buys stuff that looks impressive but drains them every single month. The rule? Stop buying things that take money from you. Start buying things that give money to you. Rule 4. Your time is worthless until you multiply it. You work 40 hours a week, you get paid. You think that's how money works. But there's a ceiling. You can't work more than 24 hours in a day. Even if you make a great hourly rate, you're capped. The rich figured this out early. They don't trade time for money. They build systems that make money without them. Example, 2 dentists, both excellent at what they do. Dr. Martinez works 50 hours a week, makes a great salary, but if he stops working, the money stops immediately. He's trapped. Dr. Patel opened a practice, hired other dentists, and now the business runs without her. She makes more money working half the hours. Same skills. Completely different approach. The shift. Stop asking, how can I work harder? Start asking, how can I build something that works without me? Hire people. Create content that scales. Build businesses. Invest in assets that generate passive income. The rule: your income should not depend on you showing up every single day. Rule 5. The goal isn't being rich, it's saying no. Let me tell you about Ronald Read. Guy was a janitor in Vermont. Minimum wage his whole life. Drove a beat-up car, lived in a tiny house. People probably felt sorry for him. He died at 92. His estate, $8 million. How? He saved every spare dollar and bought dividend stocks for 60 years. Never sold. Never touched it. Same year, a wealthy executive who'd made millions in his career filed for bankruptcy. Spent every dollar maintaining the lifestyle. Here's the question that matters. If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you survive comfortably? 2 weeks? You're broke, regardless of your salary. 6 months? You're stable. 5 years? You're wealthy. Forever? You're free. Most people optimize for looking successful. The rich optimize for freedom, for being able to say no to anything that doesn't serve them. The rule: money's only purpose is buying you options. Everything else is just noise. Rule 6. Your brain is lying to you about money. This one's uncomfortable. Your relationship with money was programmed before you could even question it. Your parents fought about money? Your brain learned money causes conflict. Grew up hearing, we can't afford that? Your brain learned money is scarce. Watched your parents work themselves to death? Your brain learned money requires sacrifice. These are called invisible scripts, and they're running your financial life right now. Common ones. Rich people are greedy, so you sabotage yourself when you start earning more. Money doesn't buy happiness, so you never aggressively pursue it. I'm just not good with money, so you never try to learn. Here's what's wild. If you identify as someone who's bad with money, your brain will find ways to prove that identity correct. You'll unconsciously make bad decisions to stay consistent with who you think you are. The fix? Awareness. Ask yourself, what did my childhood teach me about money? What emotions come up when I think about being wealthy? Then consciously replace those scripts. I'm learning to build wealth. Money gives me freedom to help others. I'm capable of understanding this. The rule? Your money problems aren't math problems. They're identity problems. Rule 7. Everyone wants to be rich fast. Nobody wants to be rich slow. This is the one that separates dreamers from builders. Getting rich isn't complicated. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference in assets that grow. Wait. The problem? The waiting part. Jeff Bezos was asked what his secret was. Everyone expected some brilliant strategy. He said, everyone asks what's going to change. Nobody asks what's not going to change. The second question is more important. Translation? Everyone wants the shortcut, the hack, the overnight success. Nobody wants to do boring, consistent work for a decade. Here's why most people fail. Year 1 of investing feels exactly like year 0. Year 2 feels like year 1. There's no dramatic moment where you feel rich. It's invisible progress. So people quit. They blow their savings on something that feels more immediate. But the people who make it to year 10? Everything changes. Their investments are finally pulling their own weight. By year 20, the money is making more money than they are from their job. The brutal truth: start at 25, by 65 you're a millionaire. Start at 35 with the same effort, you'll have half as much. The difference isn't work, it's patience. The rule: if you can't wait 10 years, you won't get rich. Period. Let me tie this all together with one final story. Ronald James Read, gas station attendant, janitor, minimum wage his entire life. When he died, he left behind $8 million to charity. How did a minimum wage worker accumulate $8 million? He understood all 7 rules. He didn't chase a big salary. He lived below his means. He invested early and let time work for him. He didn't buy status symbols. He built assets that paid him. He ignored what society told him he should want. And he played the longest possible game. Meanwhile, that same year, a former Merrill Lynch executive declared bankruptcy after making millions in his career. 2 men, same economy, completely different rules. One died free, one died broke. The difference? Understanding how money actually works. Here's my challenge. Pick one rule. Just one. The one that made you uncomfortable. The one you've been avoiding. For the next 90 days, commit to it. Maybe it's rule 2. Start investing even if it's just $50 a month. Maybe it's rule 3. Sell the car that's bleeding you dry. Maybe it's Rule 6. Figure out what your childhood taught you about money and rewrite it. You don't need to master everything today, but you do need to start, because 10 years from now you're going to arrive somewhere. The only question is where. Will you arrive still stressed about money, still wondering when things will change? Or will you arrive with options, with freedom, with the ability to say no to anything that doesn't serve you? The difference is the choice you make right now, today, in this moment. If this video hit you differently, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment which rule you're committing to. And remember, getting rich isn't about luck or secrets. It's about understanding the rules and having the discipline to follow them when nobody's watching. See you in the next one.